A subpar workout done consistently will outperform an amazing workout done inconsistently. Consistency is the biggest challenge people face when it comes to their fitness. It's a good thing we've been training people for decades. We know how to fix this. Today we're going to talk about 10 behavior habits, things you can do that have been shown in the data and in our experience to dramatically improve your consistency. Let's do it.
Oh, this will be a good list.
Yes, it'll be good because I would say this is the #1 challenge by far.
Oh yeah,
for people.
Well, this is why this presents two different challenges. Like thinking back to the clientele is one, to your point, if you could just get anybody consistent, anything is going to work better than the best thing done inconsistently, right? So then the other challenge this presents is when you actually do have somebody who does something really consistent, but it's like such a subpar program, and I'm so afraid of getting them to stop doing that and do something better.
You want to mess up the consistency.
I don't want to. Yeah, you don't want to mess that
flow. Yeah,
and that's kind of where you get people who fall in love with a modality of training and they don't want to let it go because because if you do it really consistently, even the worst programming, you'll see some good results.
That's
right.
Right. That's so long as you don't hurt yourself, right? But when you look at the data, the vast majority of Americans have started or tried a workout program. Also, majority of Americans don't consistently work out. So the consistency is the big problem. If we can fix that, we could probably solve most people's fitness issues and health issues. So let's start with the first one. Again, these are all backed by data. Habit stacking. Habit stacking is when you combine a new habit with an old habit that you've already done on a regular basis. So what this might look like, we talk about this, for example, on the podcast all the time, would be, let's say you're not exercising at all now and you want to improve your activity or increase your activity. You already eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Why don't you combine a 5 or 10 minute walk after breakfast, lunch, and dinner? For many people, this dramatically increases activity. Placing it post-meal also improves insulin sensitivity. It's actually more valuable when it's done post-meal. But also, you eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So when you combine it with a habit that you're already doing, the data shows you're more likely to be consistent with it on a regular basis.
I mean, I like this even, and not to get ahead of ourselves to the second one because they kind of go hand in hand, is like even starting off with like very small fitness goals of 10 push-ups or 20 body weight squats and pairing it with something you already do. I had a lot of success when I had clients that were really inconsistent, hadn't done anything. Like, hey, when you brush your teeth in the morning, do 20 body weight squats. Every time you go by the refrigerator, do 10 push-ups. Like, in fact, we used to do this thing where we would put stickers all over, and just every time they walk by or see it, and so you do these.
Do an exercise.
So you make it really, really simple to be able to build consistency around it, and then you build up from there.
I had people doing that in the shower, doing mobility drills and things. And really, it's like I used to call it just ritualizing a lot of these things. And then again, it's just finding those things that you do consistently every single day already, and then adding those with it. It's perfect.
Yeah, one thing I used to do is I would tell my clients before you watch TV. Do X exercise, not a hard workout, but just before we watch TV. Nowadays with smartphones, it might look like something like this, like, hey, before you get on your phone to check social media, do 10 body weight squats. And you'll find yourself throughout the day dramatically increasing your activity. And it's, again, the data shows is this helps with consistency. Next up, Adam mentioned this, is just start small, very small, and do it daily. Small doses daily are more likely to turn into a consistent habit than large, infrequent doses. For example, give an example. You could do 2 45-minute workouts a week, or you could do 15 minutes a day, right? You could do one 60-minute workout a week, or you could do 10 minutes 6 days a week. The 10-minute 6 days a week routine, even though it's the same total volume, right? It could be the same amount of exercises, reps, whatever. Because it's done a little bit every single day, it's more likely to be done.
Way more achievable that way.
It's way more achievable. It's and it tends to turn into a habit that way.
A lot of this is like psychological games too.
Yeah,
all of you can make excuses, even if it's just an extended amount of time more. Another 5 minutes, it just seems too daunting to fit it in. And so to shorten it, it's perfect.
This may have been the greatest mistake I made as an early trainer. I remember almost shaming people into working out at least 3 times a week.
Right. Like a scheduled workout.
Yeah. I was hell bent that you needed at least 3 hours of working out. And even though that might be optimal, it's not necessarily optimal or ideal for every person where they're currently at in their journey. And I didn't learn that till much later. And, you know, I found myself the first half of my career trying to convince people to do a minimum of 3 days a week or more. In the back half of my career, I would always talk people out of what they were saying they were already committed to. Meaning, like, if someone said, like, "Oh yeah, I can do 3 days a week." Like, are you sure? You know, have you ever done 3 days a week consistently? Have you ever done 1 day a week or 2 days a week? And then I would, you know, commit to them something smaller and tell them that we could always ramp up and build on that. I had so much more success doing that than I did when someone would say, "I'm super motivated. I want to do 6 days a week. Let's do it." And then we try doing it. And then the inevitable happens. They fall off of that versus the other way, committing them small and stacking those wins and then building on it.
That's the one right there. That's what you just said it. So this is all behavior based, right? So if you come out the gates with this commitment that is large compared to what you're currently doing, you're not doing anything. So you're like, I'm going 4 days a week, right? And you miss a workout or two. It feels like you failed. Even though you made it 2 days that week, you're like, oh my God, I'm already falling off. Versus, I'm going to start 1 day a week and you know you'll be consistent. And then when you feel good about it, you add an extra day. It feels like a win.
Yeah.
And it's that kind of reinforcement, that those small wins that lead to consistency. When you start to feel like you fail, this is all the behavior data on this is very clear. When you have a lot of failures in front of you, you're more likely to quit.
Yeah,
versus feeling like you're winning.
When you take on too big of like goals, and a lot of times, even if you're successful initially with that, and you're pushing all these things aside, and so now I'm compromising what I would normally do during the day to try and really fit this in and make this happen. Inevitably you kind of build up this internal resentment. It's like, well, I can't do this, and now, you know, I'm punishing myself by doing this, when in fact you could just, you know, do shortened amounts and you could still fit it all.
I also think there's a little bit of magic that happens here that, again, another thing I didn't see until afterwards, which is after training so many people for so long, you realize that one of the common mistakes that people make is they get, when they're in that motivated state, not only do they overcommit on how much of something they're going to do, but then they also restrict and cut calories like dramatically. They go from
do everything.
Yeah, they go from eating terrible to all of a sudden limiting themselves to minimal calories, perfect clean, and then also training the most amount of days they can. And their body doesn't need that. In fact, I'd much rather them eat a little bit more. They don't need to push that hard. Them sending any signal that their body needs to build muscle is better than nothing. And so I think it works better metabolically for them to only train 1 or 2 days a week to start off too, because sometimes they dramatically cut too much. Yeah. So I have found it works for you, better for you for that reason. Also, not just the consistency, because I think there's an argument to be made there too, but even metabolically, I think it tends to be more advantageous for someone to start small.
Your body can only adapt to so much stress. And what determines that is, there's a lot of things, but one of them is your current level of fitness. So think of like going out in the sun to getting a tan. If you haven't been outside in a long time and you're really pale, if you spend too much time in the sun, you won't tan, you'll burn. This is what happens to your body with exercise. If you're doing nothing, the right dose is perfect. And it might be very little because you're currently doing nothing. So it's important you do the right dose, and more than the right dose is the wrong dose and actually produces worse results.
Or you get a bunch of freckles.
That's right. Next, by the way, you know, you mentioned something, Adam, with motivation. We have a tendency, this is, again, human psychology. When we're in a motivated state of mind, we imagine ourselves to be in that motivated state of mind in the future. So when I'm motivated, it's hard for me to imagine myself being unmotivated a week or two from now or a year from now.
Which is inevitable.
This is how I feel. I feel right. This is how I'm going to feel. So I'm ready to do this.
It blinds you a bit.
Right. But the challenge isn't being consistent when you're motivated. That's easy. The challenge is being consistent when you're unmotivated. So when you're motivated, try to place yourself in what it feels like to be unmotivated, and then make your commitments based on that. What is a good commitment based off of when I feel like I don't want to work out? Not how I feel right now, because this is going to eventually go away. Next up is to set process-orientated goals, not result-orientated. What does that mean? Result-orientated is I'm going to lose 30 pounds. Process-orientated is I'm going to have 10 workouts this month. Or I'm going to have 10,000 steps a day. Or I'm going to hit 150 grams of protein a day. Now, why is that important? Well, you could pressure the result and mess up the entire process and not get the good result.
Yep.
But if you pressure the process and the process is right, the result is inevitable. So pressuring the process is what gets the result. Don't be so focused on the results. Focus on the process that leads to the results, and that's going to get you where you want to go.
This is such a powerful point because so many people don't understand how to read the data too that they're getting. Meaning, there's a lot of times when a client is so focused on the result and they wanted to see the scale go down, let's say, and the scale didn't go down. But what they did was, as a trainer, exactly what I wanted. They lost a pound of fat and they built a pound of muscle, which they are in the what we call the Goldilocks zone. But they're disappointed because they didn't lose a pound on the scale, and so then they course correct.
They abandon the process,
and that happens a lot.
All the time.
Especially when you are so focused on the result and you don't even know how to read whether your results are good or bad, and then you're misguided. And I can't tell you how often I've seen this with clients. How many calls do we take that are like this?
Oh, so many.
How many times do we listen to somebody tell us what they've been doing and they go, and so what am I doing wrong? You're not doing anything wrong.
Everything's great.
It's perfect. You're eating 500 more calories. You're doing less work. Your body's tightening up. You've gotten stronger. Like, what are you talking about? Well, because the scale hasn't gone down. Like, oh, that's what happens when you're so focused on the goal versus the process of what you're doing. And that's such a good point.
The process leads to the result. So pressure that, focus on that. Today's program giveaway is MAPS Powerlift. To win, leave a comment below this video. The first 24 hours that we drop it. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications. If you win, we'll let you know in the comment section. Our sale for this month is also almost over. There's a few hours left to take advantage. MAPS split in the anabolic metabolism bundle of programs. It's all 50% off. Head over to mapsfitnessproducts.com and then use the code July50 for that discount. Back to the show. Next up, positive reinforcement. So what does this look like? Looks like rewarding yourself. So I'll give you an example of how I would do this with some clients. So back in the day, I used to own a wellness studio, which offered personal training, acupuncture. We had some skincare, hormone stuff, and massage therapy. And I had a few clients that said, if I am consistent this week, or every week I'm consistent, if I make it here 2 days a week and I walk every single day, I'm going to reward myself with a massage at the end of every week. Like, that's a good example. Now, you could reward yourself in a way that I don't think is beneficial. Like, if I work out consistently this week, I'm going to have
a box of donuts,
something like that, right? But literally, you could say this to yourself, like, if I make every workout this week, then on Saturday, I'm going to go out to dinner with my husband, or on Saturday, I'm going to get my nails done, or I'm going to do that thing that I really want to do. And this is called positive reinforcement. This is more effective than negative reinforcement. Negative reinforcement is effective, but only for a short period of time. After a while, nobody likes to be reinforced negatively. Imagine working for a boss that only ever talked about all the things you were doing wrong. Initially, it makes you want to work harder, but eventually, like, I hate that person. Drudgery. I want to get out of here.
It's great that you went that direction, because the point I was going to say is that this reminds me of leading a team.
Yeah.
And it took me a while to figure this out in leadership. Like, that positive affirmation and reinforcing good behaviors is so much more powerful than pointing out bad behaviors or the things they do wrong. And this is what this game is. You're leading yourself. You're trying to lead yourself through this journey. And one of the hacks is to reward yourself or have positive reinforcement, to look at the things that are going well for you, not to focus on the things that maybe aren't going that great for you, or that you're not even sure if it is or good or bad. So really focus on the wins, and that positive reinforcement helps you keep going and stacking those wins.
Totally. Next up is to design a friction-free environment. All right, what does that look like? Well, set out your workout clothes the day before. Get your gym bag ready. Pick a time that is unlikely to get interrupted. Maybe you want to work out at noon, but you know that at noon, sometimes meetings go long, sometimes you get emails. And the only time if I go to the gym at 7 a.m., nobody disturbs me because work doesn't start till 9 a.m. Like, that might be ideal for you because you're getting rid of friction. So oftentimes when you talk to people about their workouts,
baby oil is good.
And why it's not a Diddy party. Yeah. What gets in the way of their consistency is friction. It's, oh God, it took too long and I missed the time. I got a call from work. My kids, I picked them up from school, and my son, he got sick or whatever. So you want to set your environment up in a way that's so friction free that it's not a problem, that those issues don't get in the way.
So this is a funny tip because right now, I was before we got on, I was telling you guys I'm kicking back up my consistency. And yesterday, I went to work out and realized that I didn't have my headphones with me. I didn't bring a different pair of sneakers. And I was, man, I can't tell you. I don't know if Doug saw me. I came in here probably 10. I was this close to talking myself out of the workout. I was. And I'm like,
just a little bit of friction.
Oh, just because there's a little bit of friction. And I told myself I did it. Now, to make sure that didn't happen to me today, last night, I packed my gym bag with my headphones and it was already set. Yeah. And so like, it's crazy that how powerful a little tip like that can be, even for somebody who's been doing this as long as I have.
It is.
Because it's like, okay, I have no excuse. The other pair of sneakers, my change of shirts in there, my headphones are in there, no friction. It's like literally when I get done, it doesn't matter if there's people out there on phone calls, I can still put my head, because that's what happened. The team, because we have our own, obviously, stereo system in here, but a lot of times our trainers are on calls and I don't want to disrupt them. And so I got to remember to bring my headphones now. And so I almost didn't work out yesterday because of that. And then
such
today,
like old man advice, but like, I just catch myself, dude. But I was having this conversation with my son because there's so much resistance in the morning and he's like so combative. And I'm like, you got to set yourself up. We got to get your clothes here. We got to have all these
night before
in place the night before. I've learned to do that. Of course, I learned way later on. And then trying to convey that, it's difficult, but I wish I would have learned that earlier because, dude, it makes everything so much easier and more effective.
It does. Next up, again, this is backed by data. Some of this sounds silly, but the studies show it works. Track your progress visually. Now, this doesn't mean you take pictures of yourself to track progress. This literally means, and I'll give you an example. If you have a calendar at home and you X off the days that you work out, and so every day you can look at it and you can see all the workouts stacking up for the week. Something like that, or a workout journal, or something you can look at and see, oh my God, I've gone 7 weeks without missing a workout, or I've hit 10,000 steps every day for 30 days in a row. It's also great when you miss one because you could start over and try and beat your previous best. These visual progress trackers, and they have them on your phones now. There's a lot of them that you can do on your phone. They actually make a difference. The data shows.
Yeah.
The best results I ever got is when I logged my workouts, and I didn't overcomplicate it. I literally just logged them in my notes, my Apple Notes. I just log what I did. Now, where that really served me, not only did you have that like thing I could refer back, like, oh wow, I've done 12 days in a row or done this. I actually could kind of peek back and see my volume. I'm like, okay, I see where I'm at, what I've been doing. Now is an appropriate time for me to add more. Or I could go back in a week and go, oh wow, I did a lot more this week than the previous week. Maybe that's why I'm feeling this way or not recovering the way. And so this is such a great one for consistency, is to just log it. And you don't have to overcomplicate it. It doesn't need to be like perfect.
No, just something visual.
Yes, something visuals that you can look back on it. And it's another thing, it's kind of like positive reinforcement too, because I'm going back, I'm like, oh hell yeah, I've gotten 12 workouts in a row. We're doing good right now.
Yeah, you're not always going to have somebody in your corner. You know, to be able to refer to that's helpful.
Yeah, next up is the leverage social accountability. So I'll give you guys a simple example of this, right? My wife right now is getting really consistent with her workouts. She works out alone, but she wanted some social accountability. So what she did is she created a text thread with a cousin and a friend. And in the text thread, all three of the women agreed to help each other be accountable. And it's a fitness thread. And it sounds silly, but this, by the way, makes one of the biggest differences. In fact, when you look at people who went from inconsistent to consistent, you ask them, what was the thing that made the difference? Oftentimes, it's that social accountability. It's the people at the gym that recognize me. It's the group that I belong to. Here's the most powerful, hiring a trainer. Oftentimes, the value of a trainer, yes, they know what they're doing. They can train you properly. They can motivate you. They know how to talk you off the ledge when things don't go right, all that kind of stuff. But one of the values is that they're there waiting for you. You have an appointment, and that social accountability makes a big difference for people.
Do you think there's a type of person that this really lends itself well? Because I think because this was huge for me, and I've tried to unpack it before. Like, man, why does that work so well for me? And I think it's because if you consider yourself a high integrity person, where if I say I'm going to do something,
your words, your bond.
Yeah,
you don't want to let people down.
Yeah, I like that. Like some people, maybe that's not the most valuable thing, or it's not a high priority. It's a very high priority for me. Like, I always want to be known as somebody who I do what I say I'm going to do, and I don't embellish. I tell the truth. Like, and so because I care so much about that, me putting it out on social and saying I'm going to, which is like, I've always been so hesitant to say what I'm going to do on the podcasting with it, because I know once I say that,
you got to do it.
I've got to execute, because to me, that's everything. My word is everything. And if I say I'm going to do something, I don't want to be known as like, oh yeah, he talks a big talk.
Yeah.
He always says he's going to do those things. Like, no. I'd rather under promise and then over deliver on what I'm going to say. And so I think this works really well for people that might be like nodding their head going like, oh yeah, that's me. If you're that person,
do it.
This works really, really well. And it served me when before we started this, and I knew I was going to go after a big goal with getting in the best shape of my life. When I documented it on Instagram, I came out and said it socially. I'm like, okay, I put it on the internet. Now I have to do it. That was a massive accountability piece for me.
Surround yourself with friends that can tell you look fat in those jeans. Yes. That's what I do.
Kind of. Next up is to reframe your mindset. So I'll give you a couple examples of a reframe, right? One mindset says, oh, no, sorry, I can't have that pizza. Different mindset says, no, thanks, I don't want that pizza. One mindset says, oh, I have to work out today. A different mindset says, I get to work out today. I deserve to be healthy. Like that, this reframing of a mindset makes a huge, huge difference. It's so empowering. The one I mentioned first is a big one. Like saying no, I can't versus no, I don't want. Sounds silly. Try it. Try it and see how it feels. When I feel like I can't, I feel tyrannized. When I feel like I don't want, that's me making the choice, and I feel empowered. Very, very different.
Well, going back to like, I think these last two tips really serve a very particular person. The person that this is so powerful to is if you treat your workouts as a punishment. Yeah. And there's a lot of people, I'd say a vast majority of the people that I trained came from this place. They came from, I don't like who I am. I don't like the way I look, and workouts were these forms of punishment. And so this becomes really powerful to learn to reframe that as I'm taking care of myself. I love myself. I deserve to be healthier. I deserve to be fit like this, versus I'm so bad. I'm so ugly. I'm so fat. Therefore I do it. You have to get to this place.
Yes.
Because even if you have used that way, the old way, as a temporary motivation, eventually that you lose that, and you won't win
you rebel from it.
Exactly. And so if you are the type of person that approaches your workouts and you know that you look at yourself and you say negative things, and you use that to motivate yourself, you've got to get to this place. You've got to get to a place at some point in your journey, or you'll keep falling off the wagon, that you don't do it because you hate yourself. You do it because you love yourself. You have to. You absolutely have to.
Yeah, when you hate yourself, well, nobody likes to hate themselves for too long. Eventually, it doesn't look like a missed workout. It looks like you stop working out. It doesn't look like, you know, I ate a couple cookies. It looks like I ate the whole box, because you are rebelling from the self-tyranny that you've put on yourself. Next up is to plan for obstacles. All right, what does that look like? Well, I have a home workout, and I know what to do if I can't make it to the gym. Or here's an obstacle. Sometimes I'm going to drive to the gym and I'm not going to want to work out. So I have a plan. What does it look like? I do one exercise.
Yeah.
So I'm going to walk in, I'm going to do, or I'm just going to walk on the treadmill. You have plan B for when obstacles get in the way, or, oh no, the babysitter didn't show up. It's okay. I have this workout I can do with my kids. They'll play over here in the corner, and I'll use this one kettlebell or these bands or whatever. When you have that, then you're okay.
This one damn near took me 40 years to get to. It took me a long time to get out of the all or nothing mindset, and that there's going to be times when I just do not want to work out, or I can't muster the energy to go all out. And giving myself the permission of those days are going to come. It's inevitable when the workout becomes no longer the priority. I've got a bunch of family stuff going. So giving myself that permission, that if I really feel like that, like, hey, go in and just go do 3 sets of squats. It'll take you 10, 15 minutes. Just go do that. And I tell you, just having that plan for when those days arrive and come, because they're inevitable. I think they're inevitable for everybody's journey. I can't tell you how many times that kept me still going to the workout. And then many times I just do that, and then I end up wanting to do more.
And you end up finishing the whole workout.
And I end up finishing, having one of the best workouts. Or sometimes I just get that 3 and I leave, but then I feel like, you know, at least I tried.
right.
I feel good that at least I did something in the gym and I didn't just not do anything or go the total opposite direction.
Yeah, I had some clients that really struggled sometimes with work. They would get real stressed out, or I trained surgeons who would be on call. And so, and I got them to be consistent. Part of the reason why I got them to be consistent is they knew if they showed up exhausted, that we would do stretching and we would go for a walk and we'd do mobility. They knew that if they showed up, the workout changed. They didn't have to skip. They didn't have to skip. Finally, you change your identity. This sounds silly, but I think Jamie Seltzer, I think, said this on our podcast. You identify as someone who prioritizes fitness.
Yeah.
This kind of self-talk.
He said that really well.
He did. Yeah. This kind of self-talk makes a big difference. So I'm, you right now you may be someone who hates working out, but now I am someone who prioritizes fitness. What does a person who prioritizes fitness do in this particular situation? Sounds silly. I know this, but you have to understand is the behaviors lead to the process being consistent, which leads to the results. So it's the behavior is at the root, and at the root of behavior is your identity. And if you identify as someone who prioritizes fitness, then you're going to prioritize fitness.
And sometimes you have to say it even before you believe it. And then you say it enough times and then you begin to believe it and then it becomes your identity.
That's right.
And so I think self-talk is so important. And I think if you don't practice saying that, no, I'm a person who just works out. I work out 2-3 times a week, whatever the number is. And again, commit to whatever you know you can commit to, and then you can build on that. You can always start off as a person. I always get at least one workout a week. And then you become a person who, oh, you know what? I'm always a person who works out 2 times a week. You can always build on that identity.
Well, and imagine if you combine all these, right? You've got the visual, check marks on the calendar. You're doing a little bit of workouts every single day. You got your friction-free environment. You're saying, I'm someone who prioritizes fitness. Then you look up at the calendar and wow, I haven't missed a workout in 45 days. I am someone who prioritizes fitness. That's where the power comes from. All right, I got it. I don't know why I didn't think of this. Josh, one of our editors, sent me some data on pasture-raised chicken. And this is such a incredible epiphany. And I never understood this when I was training clients, but I wish I did, because this has to be one of the easiest ways to bump protein and cut calories that I've ever thought of. So if you eat, we know this with grass-fed meat, right? You already eat meat, switch to grass-fed meat. Why? Grass-fed meat is leaner and higher in protein. So you can eat the same amount, your calories drop, your protein goes up. Same thing is true for pasture-raised chicken. 21% less fat.
Wow.
21% less fat in pasture-raised chicken. So if you eat chicken,
didn't know that.
Yeah, if you eat chicken and beef on a semi-regular basis and you want to cut your calories, but you want to feel like you're not cutting your calories because you're eating the same amount, and you want to raise your protein, just switch from regular meat to grass-fed and then switch from regular chicken to pasture chicken.
No kidding.
And everything's less calories and higher protein. You don't have to do anything. You're eating the same amount.
I didn't know that about chicken.
Yeah. You know what's crazy about it is,
well, of course. I mean, it makes perfect
It's so
sense.
funny. When you have animals that are healthy, they're also leaner, just like humans.
Better muscle, quality.
Right.
Well, especially considering that when commercial farming, it's in their best interest to bulk their weight up at any means possible.
Yeah,
I don't care if the bird is sick or not. I want it to be as abnormally huge because I get paid off of the weight of the bird, and so
your margins get better.
Versus pasture raised isn't like that.
Grains and they're not even eating like insects, and that was the best part too. Even, and it's not what you mentioned, but like the quality of the eggs and like the egg yolk when they're actually going around and like eating like diverse food, it makes a huge difference.
Oh God, look, crack 2 eggs, one pasture raised and one conventional. The conventional eggs now look sick to me.
Yeah,
they're like this pale yellow versus this like really vibrant.
Now I'm going to tell you. I mean, we've been getting our chicken from ButcherBox for a long time. That's always been a part of my box. I know we've all talked about our own personal boxes, but we've been getting the chicken thighs from there.
That's what we get
forever.
Yeah,
but I never even thought to compare the macros.
It's crazy. Dude, bro, you're weighing the same amount of chicken. You don't even realize you're eating less calories.
I did not know that.
And more protein.
I did not.
And you know what's cool? Speaking of ButcherBox, like talk about an easy way to lower your calories, bump your protein, eat meat that is a little higher in nutrients, better fat, fatty acid profile, right? More omega-3s, less omega-6s. And you save money because you pay for the box. Well, it shows up. There's all your meat.
It also goes back to the other thing you said earlier too about remove friction.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's one like how many times have you
prepping?
Yeah, like how many times were you gonna get something for dinner that night? It's like, oh, you don't have anything, therefore you go order out or do something where this thing gets shipped to your house. And I mean, we have a deep freezer at our place, and I mean that box comes in consistently, and I always have good meat in my freezer. Yeah. There's never a time where that freezer gets completely empty. I always have overflow of that. So there's never an excuse that I don't have something that I could cook that's a healthy choice.
Yeah. You know, we were talking about mindset earlier, and I had this wonderful moment yesterday when I got home from work. So I get home from work, and it's like 5:30, and I'm tired. We sit in the studio with these lights or whatever, so it kind of fries you a little bit. I get home, and my kids are happy to see me, and immediately I go and I start playing with the kids, and my little ones want to play. They play this game called Magic Statue. It's pretty funny. I think they saw it on what's that? Bluey, I think is the cartoon.
Magic Statue.
Yeah, it's actually a fun game, dude. Like what you do when they act like they're statues, and I put them in a part of the room, and then I turn around, and then they run and move somewhere else, and I turn around and act like I'm surprised. Like I thought I put you over there. And they think it's the funniest thing, but it's an active ass game. So I'm tired, and I'm picking them up and moving them around.
Yeah,
and we played for like 45 minutes straight.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So as I'm doing this, I remember there was a moment where I felt like kind of tired and like I wanted to do something else. And then I had this like automatic, it was weird. I wasn't even trying to do it. I had this mindset shift, and I'm like, this isn't about me. It's about my kids. I'm a parent. A lot of my life now is about them. Yeah. And it was so cool. I immediately felt so much gratitude. And I just realized, you think about how often parents struggle when they have kids because they struggle making that switch of it's all about me versus now it's not about me anymore. And so they talk about it as a sacrifice. Mm-hmm. You have to sacrifice your wants for your kids, which I get that. But I think with the mindset, if you go into it knowing like it's no longer about me, it's about them. Yeah. It doesn't feel like a sacrifice. It actually feels like a blessing.
I think a lot of that has to, I believe a lot of that has to do with age. I really do. I think that when you're 20 something years old, it's really hard to frame it like that. Because you still, for the most part, are in a very selfish stage of your life. Right. You're still building your security.
Especially early 20s, right? Yes. Your brain isn't fully developed.
Yeah, your brain isn't fully developed. Yeah. You're still building that foundation for your family or potential family. You're still growing a lot as a man, trying to figure your own way out and learn and become mature and wise. You get to your mid 40s, and you're just at a whole different mind already. So that's so much easier for you or I or us to do that than I feel like the 25-year-old dad who's in it. Like that's a tough.
I agree. I do think though it's helpful to hear it.
I agree. What I mean? No. I think I'm so glad you share it and we talk about it because I never had a place to listen in my 20s. I didn't hear men in their 40s talking about this,
especially men.
Yeah,
yeah. You don't hear that too often from men. In fact, even from moms, sometimes you hear about like, I don't get to do this or I don't get to do that anymore or I want whatever. And I get that. Like I totally get it. It is a lot for other people. But if you really understand the mindset of it's not about me and it's about them, then you're in it and you not only just accept it, then you start to see and feel the blessing of it all. And I know people hear this and it's like, whatever, but I promise you it's a season. At some point, you'll look back and you'll be like, I missed that time.
Again, another part of being 45 is you've already seen 4.5 decades go by. You know how fast a decade goes. So it's very easy for me to look at my son and go like, dude, I'm going to blink. And this time where he wants me to tuck him in bed every night will go. I have no problem going to his room every night and laying down next to him for 10, 15 minutes while he lays there and we look at the ceiling or whatever like that. I do not feel like I'm sacrificing to do that. I feel like it's a privilege that I'm not going to get in 5 more years. Yeah. So it's a total reframe. Put me at 25 when I probably couldn't wait to get on video games with my buddy or, had some book I was trying to finish or worried about numbers and work. Like my mind would be somewhere totally different. And so hard to do that, I feel like at that age. So like, I cherish those moments, even when I'm exhausted and have moments, doesn't mean I don't have moments of selfishness that creep in, but it's real easy for me to switch that the other way and go like,
it changes everything.
Yeah.
I've learned to, I have had to do the same thing and really just start it by going outside and shooting hoops and doing things outside actively, and then they, well, where's Dad? What's Dad doing? And then they come find me, and then it's like it's an invitation. It's like, here, I'm doing this. Let's instead of me coming in hammering, I just get so sick of like coming in, throwing everybody out, having to be the hammer all the time. It's like, come join me, dude. Let's have fun.
Yeah, and too, because as your kids get older, like think about like when they were little. I bet you if you could go back and visit that, you totally would.
Totally.
Yeah, you talk to any parent as their kids get older, like, oh God.
Yeah.
Grandparents say this all the time. Soak it up. They grow up real fast. It's so hard to hear when you're in the middle of all of it.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
Well, I mean, that's the other thing that we brought up. We talked about this off air about like you being at the age you're at. You're not quite grandpa age, but you could almost be. I mean, if you
are you kidding me? My dad was a grandpa at my age.
Yeah. So think about that. So and think about how grandpas are with their grandkids. I feel like as a 45-year-old dad, you act a little bit more like a grandpa who's just so appreciative. You're calmer. You're chill. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a different vibe. This is why I talk to I know we have our young staff. I talk to like a lot of my nephews and cousins that are much younger than me, and they're always asking about being an older dad. And, oh, don't you wish that you were this? And I'm like, no. I'm so grateful that it played out the way it did, because I know for me, okay, I'm a better dad in my 40s than I would have been in my 20s. Even as much as I would have tried to be one then, I think the headspace that you're at when you're older to appreciate all that little stuff.
Totally. Okay, did you guys ever read the book 1984? George Orwell's book, definitely. 1984.
I have not.
It's very prophetic.
It's a famous novel about propaganda. So the irony of this is hilarious. George Orwell's estate approves the retelling of 1984 from a woman's point of view. So, like, let's just appreciate the fact that the most famous novel on propaganda will be rewritten to conform to modern propaganda. Why are they changing it from?
What? Is that real?
I'm like, yeah, dude, they've approved the rewriting of it. So it's like, it's almost ironic.
From a woman's perspective?
Yeah, it's almost ironic that they're like, oh yeah, we'll change the story to meet this new, like or whatever.
Just make a little adjustment.
I know. It's
I
such
wonder
a classic.
if it'll probably do well. I mean, right? It'll probably do well.
Maybe.
Yes, it will.
What are they going to add to it and change to it?
I have no idea. I didn't read it, so I wouldn't know what they would change from it.
Surveillance state.
I mean, that's just,
that
sounds like it might be a marketing strategy too. What a brilliant marketing strategy, right? You get a whole new.
When was that book written? That's an old book.
Probably 1984.
Bro, it's wild. Yeah. If you know,
probably in the 50s.
No. 1984 was the future.
Oh,
that was the future of like how everything was going to be
the surveillance state. Yeah. And so if you ever read it, bro, it will trip you out.
It's too
how accurate it is.
Too parallel.
You're talking about a
1948.
Okay, so how many years has gone by now since that's 70 years, 60 something, 70 years, 70. Yeah, that book. If you read it now, it's eerie. Yeah. The predictions that he wrote in that. It's like, oh my God, half the stuff came true, dude. Was it
a good book? Yeah, was it good or I don't know.
It's required reading in a lot of high schools and colleges.
Really?
Yeah, that one, Animal
Farm.
Like
those shirts you've seen, like make Orwell fiction again. Because it's way too accurate. True.
Anyway, I got to tell you guys about. So we did an episode recently, maybe a week ago, where we talked about like the best carbs for bodybuilding, for building muscle. Okay. People are so funny about diet. It's like religion for a lot of people.
Why did we get pushback on that?
The zealots,
bro. The low carb fanatics. Like, it's not like I don't know what we said on there that would make some of them mad. I think we said that.
How dare you promote carbs?
Yeah, it's easier to build muscle. You're going to be stronger if you eat carbs. This, that, and the other. And people are just.
You know why? Because that group of people are angry because they don't get cake or cookies every day. I would be bitter and angry too.
They're limited.
He's angry. I'm angry.
I read some of the comments on there, and they're just people are like, "You don't know what you're talking about. I've been low carb. It's been life changing." Well, okay, good for you, dude. I don't know why it's so offensive to you.
Okay,
that you can eat.
What do you think it is? What is it about diet that has so many parallels to religion? What is that?
I think it's because it's life changing.
Well, you're deciding to live your life according to a certain way of parameters, and you've chosen that way.
The people who are like that found a diet or a method that in the moment, for however period of time,
following guidelines, just like you would a religion.
well, it changed their life. So,
Well, and also like a religion.
yeah, but obviously false god. But they changed their diet. It changed their life, and now they want to preach it to everybody. And then they have people telling them, "Well, I eat carbs. I feel okay." No, you don't understand. No, you can't eat carbs, or no, you don't understand. Like all plants,
you didn't do it long enough.
Yeah, and it becomes this like weird conversation. This really weird.
I think it comes. I mean, for most people, obviously there's always exceptions to the rule, but I think for most people, it probably comes from a good place because it was just like I think a lot of the religious zealots. I don't think they mean to come off the way they do sometimes. I think it's that it was so life changing for them that they want other people to feel it, experience it, and share it. You know, and so it's probably coming from that place.
Becomes a part of their identity.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Yeah. But to get angry at, like, I mean, I don't, it's so weird because we're so do whatever you want.
These people have issues with control.
Yeah.
I mean, I think so.
Let's be honest.
Yeah. There's a study that came out.
They're the same people that wanted you to wear a mask.
Yeah. Oh, no, I don't think they're the same people. There's probably some crossover. Because I don't think they're the ones that I don't think mask wearers were the carnivore eaters.
Yeah.
I think they might have been the vegans. Sorry. This is true.
Different religion.
Do a study on it.
Different religion, Justin.
I just tried to meld
you just cross-pollinate
opposing religions.
Yeah, well, that's going to get some people pissed.
I would love to see a study on that. Who is more likely to wear a mask in the car alone? Vegans or like carnivore eaters?
Well, we know the answer.
Yeah, I think
that's obvious.
I'd put some money on it. But we got to do a study though to know for sure.
Okay.
Anyway, speaking of studies, there was a study that looked at exercise and depression, and this study it's pretty interesting. As little as 5 to 10 minutes of exercise a day showed a measurable reduction in depression. 5 to 10 minutes a day.
You know, these studies that you bring, I can't help but go like, all this is pointing out is just how fucking terrible we are. I mean, this is like pretty soon here's going to be like, it's like, wait, all you have to do is think about working out once a week.
Visualize it, and you're going to gain muscle.
If you stand up.
I mean, we're getting so sedentary and so out of shape that, I mean, any sort of attempt towards exercise has showing in studies positive change
benefits.
I mean, that's when I hear that's what comes to mind.
You're 100% right.
Not like it's that life change. It's just that's how bad we are.
No. To put it differently, a significant percentage of people's low to moderate consistent depression is a result of inactivity. It is not, a chemical imbalance. It's not genetic. The reason why you are depressed might just be because you don't move all day long. That's what this is showing. And getting up and moving for 10 minutes gets rid of a measurable amount of depression.
Wasn't there a shift in psychology where they started to kind of implement that in education, where they're starting to, really try and work in physical activity?
Yes, because of the data on exercise and depression.
It always seemed obvious, but it's like, it takes a while to.
The hardest part for that person is that they have dug such a deep hole. It seems so impossible to climb out.
Well, that's why it's so good to hear 5 to 10 minutes.
Right, just a little bit.
Yeah, walk around the block. Or walk down the street and come back. Just do that.
And that's probably the mistake that person who is in crippling depression is thinking, okay, that's great. I hear this exercise. I need to do
but I don't want to go to the gym.
Yeah, I don't go to the gym.
I don't want to get out of my pajamas.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, even the medications you'd hope would help usher their ability and willingness more to move, to get up and do things.
Well, so I used to train this. I trained this. She was a psychology professor, and we talked about antidepressants, anxiolytics, and we had this wonderful discussion. And she said, Sal, one of the best ways to use those for people is just to get them to the point where they can do the things that help them. So sometimes people feel so down and out that getting off the couch feels like this insurmountable obstacle.
Yeah.
So sometimes the medications give the person just enough to get off the couch to walk around the block. And then the movement itself starts to contribute to them feeling better, and it starts to make them feel better, which makes them want to move more, which then, you know, contributes to.
Do you guys think that you have ever personally suffered from depression, or have you ever had someone who's really close to you that's been in deep depression? Have you ever felt it, you think?
I've never felt, I mean, I've been depressed, but I've never felt the kind of depressed that makes me not want to get out of bed.
Yeah.
You know?
I think back, I actually think I did at one point when I was out in Chicago, and I really isolated myself, you know, from all my friends here, my family and everything. And I was still, you know, on this quest to build up relationships and friendships. And I just got to a point where I just kind of gave up, and it was like really cold. It was really dark. It was like the winter. Yeah. And I used that as an excuse to just hide in my room. I did that for months. Yeah. And it was till my friends were starting to kind of pull me out. But I didn't realize I didn't realize I was going through that.
Do you think there was an event or a thing that happened that kind of tipped it to that point? Obviously, all the things you just listed probably compounded it or made it worse.
Yeah, it was just it was.
But did you think there was like an event that happened like that kicked it off and set it down that path?
I mean, I think it was more my separation from my old self and really just trying to recreate myself and obviously like I had just broken up with my girlfriend of like 4 years and like it was just kind of a combination of a whole lot of life-changing events at once, and then used the excuse of like, oh my God, this, you know, it's so cold and like, I don't know if I can handle this place, and you know, it was the woe is me thing for a little bit, and it got pretty heavy.
How long did it last, you think?
I think it was like a good 2 months, probably.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
That's rough, dude. Yeah. I experienced depression a couple times when I lost someone close to me with cancer, and then getting divorced. But the way that I tend to handle it, which I don't know if it's any better, is I just don't let myself sit still, because I don't want to sit still with how I feel. So I tend to do more. I mean, that's probably, and move more.
I mean, that's probably good advice.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's good advice. If maybe it would probably have been better if I sat and felt what I needed to, so it didn't come out in other ways. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. So, what about for you, Adam?
Yeah, there's a.
Was it when you short sold your?
Yeah. And that's why I asked Justin if there was like a thing or a moment, and you said something that I think I totally relate to was. So the way I would articulate it was that for the first time something like shook my identity. Like I thought of myself as a thing, and for the first time, something in my life, like just totally like that, you're not that, and that for me was like this. I had this crippling anxiety of that I didn't realize that I had of not wanting to be anything like my parents financially, and I had prided myself for so long for being so financially responsible and proud of myself for that. You know, all the way to my mid-20s. And so to short sell my house, even though all the reasoning made sense and it was even didn't matter. It was the fact that, you know, I'm losing my house and people on the outside looking in now, oh, he's like and again, no one said
no
this.
one thought that.
Yeah, nobody thought this but me.
Wild? Yeah.
But it caused this like crippling feeling of depression of so it like shook my world because I identified as this thing so much, and then that got kind of blown up and disrupted, and I am not that, you know, whatever. And so it took a while it was a few months before, and I didn't want to do anything. I remember I was unmotivated in so many things that I would be motivated to do and I love to do. And it took a while to kind of shake that and be like, I'm not this thing, you know, I'm not a credit score, you know.
It's so crazy. Yeah. It's so crazy how you can play these games with yourself. Yesterday, my wife pulled out some old pictures, and there was an old picture of me. My cousin and I had just finished working out in his backyard. We're 15 years old. So I'm a 15-year-old boy, and we're flexing, okay? Now I'm 40. Now I'm in my mid-40s. I look at the picture, and I remember that I'm 15. I look at myself, and I go, man, I thought I was so skinny.
Yeah.
I'm actually a jacked 15-year-old.
Yeah.
I can actually say that now. I looked at it, and I go, if I saw a 15-year-old walking around like that, I think that kid works out.
Yeah.
I thought I was so skinny.
Yep.
I thought I was my God, my body image was so terrible. I believed it, and you couldn't have convinced me otherwise. Yeah. It's so weird.
I've had that same experience where I've looked back in a really old picture and I'm like, man, I look pretty damn good. Yeah. But I remember what that kid felt like. That kid did not felt. I mean, I used to wear 3 T-shirts, so I looked thicker and bigger, and just like
That's so crazy,
massively insecure about that stuff. And then I look back and I'm like, dude, that's so wild, the perception that you have of yourself. But I mean, I love that we all have dealt with that, felt that, know that, because I also think that that understanding is what helps you with so many clients. Like clients,
yes.
So many of your clients struggle with the same thing. Well, now most of them, it's the other side, right? It's not the I'm so skinny. It's normally the I'm so fat.
But you get it.
Yeah, but you get that feeling of like your perception is. And look at how many, every day we do live callers, at least one, if not all, of the live callers have some sort of this where they're like.
And then they send a picture and we're like,
you're like,
what?
Yeah,
you look great. And it's so easy, right, for us to look and say that to them. But for them, I always wonder too, like when they get off with us, do they really go like, oh, I need to hear that, or they're like
set in,
or do they go like they're stupid, like,
or they're full of crap, they're just being nice to me,
they're just being nice to me. Like I bet a lot of people don't even.
Well, you know what my big realization was with that picture? It was that like, oh, I thought I was so skinny. The other one was realizing that there's probably things now that I believe that are not true. There's probably things now. Yeah. And
like what are those things? I think about that sometimes.
Right, because we're not going to know till later, right? Until we get wiser.
Yeah. So that you need to work out 6
but that's
days a week.
Good, say what?
That you need to work out 6 days a week.
No. I tell you, I only work out a few days a week now. But it's serious. Like that's a good realization to know, is to know like there's probably things I believe that are not true. And maybe a good idea to believe the people around me that I trust.
Cheese isn't affecting me.
Yep. You'll never
well,
keep that up.
I mean, I think that no matter, even though we can admit that we're aware of that and we shook that for the most part, because it's such a deeply rooted insecurity, there's still there's an undercurrent of it no matter what.
Of course.
So there's how you measure, like, even your perception now of yourself with your majority awareness is still skewed.
Sure.
Because that's an underlying.
Right. But that's the understanding. It's like, I know.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's step one, right? Is at least being aware that, okay, my own perception is skewed on this. I bet 90% of the people that would see me would probably think, oh, you're really fit, you know?
All right. I got to bring up another cool study on depression. Lutein and zeaxanthin are shown to improve mental health when people have high amounts of them. Both of those are found in high amounts in like leafy greens or greens in particular. And in the study, it talked about bioavailability. Breaking down or cooking them increases bioavailability. So I immediately thought about the green juice from Organifi. Yeah. Immediately. It's such a concentrated amount of those nutrients that you would normally need to eat a lot of vegetables to get, that it's more and more as I start to read more of these studies.
Power-packed.
I've been looking up more and more studies on phytonutrients and nutrients that are in these things. Not necessarily essential, like it's not a vitamin or mineral, but still beneficial. So it just keeps making the case for value in having like a green. It keeps making the case
to me because there's not like this smoking gun or one ingredient in that green juice that's like, oh yeah, the studies show this is whatever, so amazing. It's just like all of it is so good. And there's a reason why every time I drink one of those, I just feel good.
That's right. I can't put my finger on it.
Exactly. I was deficient before.
And I think I think that what you're pointing out and what it's saying to me is just like there's so many good things in it that it's probably affecting all of it a little bit.
That's right.
And that combination of all of those things feeling a little bit better just makes you feel better when you drink that thing. Katrina is the better one of the two of us.
Is she consistent?
She carries those around in her purse. Like she carries. What
is she noticing? Skin?
No, she just like feels good. Yeah. Every time her digestion feels good, her mood, her energy, all of the above. And so it's like one of those things that she just is really good about. If hours have gone by, maybe she hasn't eaten or haven't done anything, we're flying, like she'll shake that up. She'll add it into a water bottle real quick, shake it up and drink it. And it's like, you know what? I could be better about doing that because I experience the same experience. I just haven't disciplined myself to be as consistent with carrying it everywhere we go. She's really good about it.
Element is an electrolyte powder you add to your water with no sugar or artificial sweeteners. Has the right amount of sodium. You get better pumps, more energy. It tastes amazing. It's especially valuable for low-carb dieters or those of you that eat a whole food diet. You probably or you might need more sodium, especially if you work out all the time. Element's the best. Go check them out. Go to drinklmnt.com/mindpump. On that link, you'll get a free sample pack of their most popular drink mix flavors with any purchase. Back to the show. This segment of the podcast is brought to you by Mind Pump Fitness Coaching. This is the #1 course that teaches trainers and coaches how to build sustainable 6-figure plus businesses and careers in fitness. Look, it's roundtable based, so you can hear Adam, Justin, and myself teaching you how to build a better business, get more leads, close more deals, close bigger deals, and be more effective trainers. By the way, our course is nationally recognized. In fact, it gives you 1.9 CEUs with or for your NASM certification. Find out more at mindpumpfitnesscoaching.com.
First question is from Simple Not Easy. I love your guys' programs. I do see people comment about how Arnold presses are a terrible movement. I do see you guys have them in your programming. How do you feel about the negative comment towards
I've never
exercise?
seen
People are idiots.
We ignore dumb people.
Next question.
I've never seen anybody have a negative comment. I picked that question because I'll address it, although I've never seen
What are
someone
the
have a
comments? I wish I knew.
You've never seen negative comments
about an Arnold press.
Well,
Have you?
I mean, you have to be. I think they're probably assuming that's just somewhere on Reddit. Which
Maybe.
Oh, man.
So
Reddit's
here's
got
why
nothing but
Arnold.
negative.
Here's what makes Arnold presses valuable. A traditional shoulder press will come down here. An Arnold press with the supination, what it does is it allows for a deeper range of motion. That's all. The supinating hand with the dumbbell just allows for a deeper range of motion. And the data on range of motion and muscle building and strength and stability is clear, clear, clear. A greater range of motion contributes better to muscle growth. It contributes better to stability and health. And when it comes to the shoulder joint is a complex joint. Yeah. And you want to train it through its full ranges of motion.
It's a spiraling diagonal movement it's capable of. And to be honest, I think like stopping here, in this rigid position adds a lot more unnecessary force on the joint.
So this is annoying. I hate it when fitness, I don't know want to call them experts, but fitness people will say a comment.
Well,
like
hey, this is a good thing to talk about because this is what AI is kicking off.
Yeah, so it says the Arnold press, while popular, has received negative reviews due to potential shoulder injury risks and questionable effectiveness compared to standard shoulder presses. Some fitness experts argue that the rotational movement can strain the shoulder joint, especially for those with existing shoulder issues or those attempting to lift heavy. So this is what's silly. You strengthen
the caveat of pre-existing conditions too.
You strengthen what you train. First off, if you can't perform an exercise with good stability and control, then you need to don't do it and figure out a way to be able to do it or get yourself to be able to do it because something's holding you back. Okay, but if you could do it with good technique, good stability, it's going to contribute to healthier shoulders. In fact, cutting your reps short and building strength in a shortened range.
More dysfunction.
Way more dysfunction, especially in the shoulder.
Where else are you going to get that kind of loaded rotation? I'll ask, because if you're not training that and you're not training the strength capability of your shoulder to be able to go through that normal function, you're limiting yourself to the point where you're not going to have that kind of recruitment to be able to stabilize and maintain strength in your joint.
Yeah. I mean, we've I don't know how many tens of thousands of programs we've sold, and we do have Arnold presses in a lot of our stuff.
Almost all of them. Yeah.
I don't think, and we have a customer service team that helps people customize the programs if they have problems or issues, and we handle those.
I've never heard a complaint about that.
I've never heard somebody complain about that. I mean, and the only person that if I had a client who had a recent shoulder injury, then maybe we're not doing something like that. But if you can do this, you absolutely should do this. It's a natural movement. It's good. And the idiots that are saying otherwise are just that. They're idiots.
Next question is from Coach Maria Kelly. What is the ideal mindset to have for people starting their health and fitness journey?
The best mindset, growth mindset. Yep. So that's general. What does that mean? That means you know you're going to stumble. You know you're going to hit some roadblocks. You're going to take a few steps back, but that's okay because you're going to learn from them. But generally speaking, you want the mindset with fitness that you are someone who deserves to be healthy. You are someone worthy of being cared for. Exercise, workouts is a form of self-care. Diet is nourishment for this body that you live in. that mindset will lead you in the right direction. Now, the wrong mindset is, I hate myself, I don't like myself, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna punish myself, and food is about restriction, because I don't deserve to eat that, or I shouldn't eat that. That leads to absolute failure.
I also like what you said earlier, I think is a powerful one, which is process focused and not outcome focused.
Yeah.
So having a mindset that is focused on the process versus thinking about the desired outcome, right? Oh, I want to be 30 pounds lighter, or I want to, like, that's focused on the outcome versus like, hey, I want to be somebody who trains 3 days a week consistently for a long time.
Yeah.
For
And then what does that lead to?
Yeah. And what that will lead to is ultimately those goals, but focusing more on the process of getting there and not worrying so much on the outcome. I think that is a very powerful mindset. It's kind of like similar to what you preach and we made shirts about years ago, which is the, you know, chase health and aesthetics follow, you know, try to have a mindset to become a healthy person. And a byproduct of becoming a healthy person is somebody with a lower body fat, with strong muscles that are mobile and capable. And so a mindset that is focused on health versus this like body fat percentage or looking a certain way, it'll better serve you to be health focused.
Next question is from Chef Kyle Bowett. What is something I can do during long rest periods? I want to avoid phones as much as I can, only tracking sets.
This has always been interesting to me. I had clients like this.
Stare at your eyelids.
Yeah, I had lots of clients like this where they were like, "What do we do? What do we?" I'm like, nothing. We're just going to rest. But I get it. Like, what do I do during long rest periods? So a couple things you could do. You could either
visualize.
You could read. You could write.
Yeah, but you guys don't do that bullshit. You have music.
I read.
You read?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. This is when I read studies or scripture.
I contemplate.
Or I think about the set
exactly. I am listening to music. My head is down, and I'm visualizing the next set.
Yeah.
That's it.
Simple.
And I'm actually enjoying and saying this is a good time for me to be away from my phone and not look at that screen that I already look at all day long.
Be in it and be there, be present, as opposed to somewhere else. This is the only time you can really like be that focused.
And listen, and I think this is kind of an important topic right now, because we live in this time where we don't know how to be still, and we don't know how to we need to be distracted at every moment, to the point where we have questions like this, where what do I do with the 2-minute rest in between? Like, maybe this is a good time for you to practice you don't need to do anything.
Yep.
And be still and be quiet. And I mean, there can be a form of meditation within lifting too. Like I love to lift where I'm not actually pushing that hard, and I don't need to be even that focused necessarily on the lift. And maybe I'm just being at peace and being in my body and being grateful and of where I'm at in my life and what I'm currently getting to do in that moment. Like, I don't know.
I tell you what, like for me, my workouts, the in-between sets, the rest periods, are where I come up with 90% of the content that you hear on the podcast. I come up with in between sets. I have the most creative thoughts. So I like to read, I like to write, I like to pray, and I like to read scripture. And I just, because of the movement, because of the workouts, I just have this really, I just feel like I can think really clearly and well. So the reason why I'm communicating that is for people who are like professionals, who like to be efficient. And if your phone is a distraction, bring a notepad with you, and in between sets, write ideas down and watch what happens 10 minutes into your workout.
The reason why I'm okay with you doing that, and I think that's a good exercise for you, is because it reminds me of Paul Chek, who would do art.
Yeah,
he'd paint,
and he'd paint, and that like what you just, this is your art.
Yeah,
your Mona Lisa is this podcast and the content that you bring to this, and you have a passion for that art. I mean, you're great at it. It's what you bring to the table. You enjoy it. You've said out of everybody, like, I never want to stop doing this podcast. The money doesn't matter. Nothing matters, but you thoroughly enjoy it. So a part of you reading for it and prepping for it is a part of your art form and a part of relaxation for you in a form. You know what I'm saying? So that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That you have found that as something you do in rest periods. And so I would encourage, if this person has some sort of form of art that they enjoy and they think about that too, well, I think that's okay. But I do think that this
being bored is a good thing.
Some people just need to see it.
I think that's an important skill to learn, to be at peace with yourself.
It's a lost skill, and I want to study that you know, proves the value of boredom and like what your brain actually is able to filter through and what kind of connections you can make just by allowing that space for your brain to actually, you know, be at rest and figure things out.
Yeah, I don't like, this is a trait I don't like about myself that I've noticed in the last decade and a half of, I have become addicted to being distracted in waiting in lines, going to the bathroom, doing so that because of the phone. Yep. And so sometimes I will intentionally not do it and like, cause I'm like, I don't want to lose that. I can't be at peace with myself for 4 minutes. Like that's not, I don't think that's healthy. And so I also
we hate it, by the way. I brought up that study. Humans hate it. They've done studies.
Yeah,
they have people sit in chairs.
It's uncomfortable.
And they give them the option to shock themselves or sit there. And people will shock themselves. They'd rather shock themselves.
I feel something.
Yeah. Well, you got to be, there's something to be said about, like, I mean, I know Buddhism practices this, and like in monks, right? They just sit there, learning to be completely at peace like that. There's something about that as an art form in itself, and learning.
Do you guys
to do
think
that.
a gym?
You can always stare at weird people.
Yeah. Do you guys think that a gym, that today, that this might actually become valuable if a gym said
no cell
phones? Yeah. You're not allowed to have a phone.
I'm sure there's actually one that's already doing it.
I'm wondering if that would be like, if people would actually value.
The only
that.
reason I'd want is
look it up, Doug. I bet you there already is a gym that's doing.
You're right.
Phones.
Music would be the only thing.
Yeah, but I mean, if you could have, you know, how they have those headphones where everybody kind of tunes into their own station. You ever seen those raves where people have their own?
That's so stupid. Yeah. People are dancing.
Like, oh, you're listening to what I'm listening to. You know, like, I'll have a gym like that.
I think it's so funny. I bet you if you did like a kind of a hardcore gym where you can't be on your phone, no headphones either. You listen to the music, and we're in here working out, and that's it. I bet you because I would sign up for that. I actually would love that. I'd be like, yeah.
Well, I would think CrossFit's kind of like that.
You're right.
CrossFit's very community driven. I don't see, or at least it's been a while since I've been a CrossFit gym, but nobody had
the amount of people I see in gyms filming themselves while they're working out, and none of them make a living out of this. These are just regular people, like filming and like posing and stuff.
I mean, they're trying to though. So
I'm like, oh,
they're trying to shame these people back to normal. It's like it's too far gone.
Knock their phone down.
Yeah, like, kick their stand over. Yeah,
prick.
We need more bullies. All right, Doug.
We do.
Next question is from Briar Bennett. I'm becoming a personal trainer mostly because of you guys, and just landed my first client. What steps should I take from here?
We couldn't talk you out of it, huh?
So many episodes talking trash.
Well, here's what you do from here. Just remember this. The most important thing that you can do for a client is help them develop a relationship with fitness where they want to do this for the rest of their life. So that's the most important thing.
You don't want to plug our course, huh?
Huh? Well, I think
Sal doesn't like money at all. No. Forget that we made an entire course around this exact question.
Yeah. Well,
Pretty much applies to
I'm assuming they have our course because they said mostly because of us.
Doug can look it up. You better do check, Doug, because I'm going to shame this person if they don't.
Yeah.
So,
but I think
do you think they're asked this question if they don't have the course? Because I feel like if you had the course, you would know a lot of things for you to be focusing on, because we cover all that stuff.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think
literally outline.
Doug's about to find out from me right now.
Yeah.
You might be right, but you know, it's true. Like, their relationship with fitness is the most important thing that you can develop with them. So what does that look like with the first steps? Well, the workout's enjoyable. They feel like you're happy to see them. They don't leave the workout like they got beat up. They leave feeling good. Their joints feel good. They want to come back for more. That's the most important thing you can do, and it's the most important thing you can always do with your clients. If you can get somebody to want to work out for the rest of their life because they've just had this incredible experience for the last year with their trainer, like, you totally win.
I won't be a complete dick and just shame you if you don't have the program. I will give you advice here. And one of the luxuries about only having a client or two is they become your whole world, because they are your whole world at this time, business-wise. And so, man, find every way to over deliver on service and value. And you know, I was just meeting with all of our trainers, and you know, obviously they've learned from us. They have gone through our courses. We've taught all the things, but then I'm even challenging each of them. I'm like, you look at each other and pick up what others are doing really well that you might not be doing, and then ask yourself, what can I do different to separate myself?
Yep.
And I remember great examples of trainers. I had some trainers that heated up towels, and so when your client came there for work, they had this nice warm towel when they first walked in.
Did you really?
Oh yeah, no. Would
they microwave the
towel?
towel?
He had like one of those little microwave like oven things that were like massage therapists have, and he did it. And it was inspired from that talk that we had, where I was just like, you are trying to, especially in a company that, you know, you have everyone follows the same protocol, and so it's like, how do you separate yourself from that? If we all follow the same meal plan, Apex, we all follow the same kind of program, it's like, how do you then separate? Well, you have to learn to go above and beyond. I'm like, what, in this day and age with AI and all the tools we have, like, what separates you? I don't know. Maybe you every other day you send your client a healthy recipe. AI can generate it for you for less than 2 minutes. You just prompt it, and then it's like, here's a healthy recipe for chicken. Like, I mean, do little things like that this person gets this wow factor of like, wow, I know I pay this guy to write my diet and train me and motivate me, but I didn't know I was going to get recipes. I didn't know I was going to get a warm towel. I didn't know I would get a happy birthday, or like I didn't know he was going to know my husband's thing was coming up. Like, you just think like that. And right now you have that time to be thinking of all the ways to over deliver, and then, you know, you need to buy our course, bro, because you don't have it.
Yeah. Justin did shoulder rubs, I think.
I did.
Anyway,
that's why I did the best resign.
People sign up like crazy.
It was creepy.
Yeah. All right, I know you liked that episode. If you did, check this one out. 30% body fat for men. This is way too high. This is actually a bit high for women as well. So in today's episode, we're talking about how you can go from 30 to 10. What is 10% body fat? This is when you have a visible six-pack. Can you go from 30 to 10%? Yes, it's possible, but not if you guess along the way. So we're going to talk about how you can do that in today's episode.
Now, there's a huge range, right, of like body types.
Yes.
Some people can run a little bit heavier or a little bit higher body.